Hello. Buenos días. Noches. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. And let me tell you why. LULAC is back con ganas. Okay? We're here because we're going to be loud and clear. We're going to be telling everybody from New York to LA, from Chicago to the border in South Texas, that we're going to be standing here and fighting for Latinos in 2020, because we know that the road to the White House goes through the barrios and las colonias de nuestra gente y nuestra raza. I want you to know you're here because we are the voice of Juan and Maria. Today, somewhere in America, a Juan and a Maria woke up and they picked the vegetables and prepared the food that we're going to eat and that Americans across the country are going to eat. Today in America, a Jose and a Maria woke up and they cleaned the hotels and they took care of children that were not their own. And they taught children were not their own. And for the women, they made 53 cents on the dollar of what an Anglo male made. And LULAC is here to say that equal work for equal pay should be the law of the land for every Latina in the United States of America. We're here today because somewhere in America, a Jose and a Maria woke up and they had to make a decision. Were they going to pay for the insulin for their little daughter to be taken care of and to survive, or were they going to pay the rent? Because they didn't have health care insurance. Latinos have the largest ethnic group without health care insurance. And we're here because LULAC wants to make sure that every Latina and Latino and every American has a right to have health care in America today, and that Jose and Maria never have to make that choice again. LULAC is here because we know that in 1993, actually 2001, as a state representative, I passed the Texas Dream Act that said if you graduate from a Texas high school, you get in-state tuition. That became the origin of the Dream Act. And now 3 million dreamers are waiting on their American dream. And I want you to join LULAC in making sure and fighting to make sure that every dreamer gets a pathway to citizenship and becomes an American citizen as their right belongs. LULAC was there when a man went and drove from Allen, Texas to El Paso and killed 22 Latinos, Mexican Americans, because they were Mexican. We arrived the next day. LULAC was there. I visited the victims in the hospital. And I want to tell you about one of them because we had invited her to be here. Unfortunately, she couldn't. Her name is Domingo Garcia. And Coco had up a table and they were raising money for their 9-year-old girls' soccer team. Her husband, Memo Garcia, was there. When the gunman came to the front of that Walmart, they pushed over the table. She got shot 3 times. He got shot 4 times. But the little girls were saved, like almost 10 or 11 9-year-old girls who were able to escape from the gunman's path. And when we were there, we had a march for healing, to say that the darkness of that racism, the darkness of that bigotry could be defeated by the light, la luz, of justice and righteousness. And Coco left the hospital room and showed up at our rally in El Paso to say, I'm with LULAC and I'm here to stand up for all the other victims. That's what LULAC is about, standing up for those victims. When an American soldier who had done 2 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan was deported and sent to Mexico, where him and his family were separated, they asked LULAC for help. We went there, and together, working with the LULAC councils in Chicago, the governor of Illinois gave that U.S. veteran a pardon. We then went to Tijuana, and we escorted him across the bridge. He went to Chicago, went to a naturalization interview, and today, I'd like to everybody give a hand. Miguel Perez has returned home to Chicago, veteran. With his family, and he's now a U.S. citizen who can vote. When I started raiding workplaces, LULAC showed up in O'Neill, Nebraska, in Paris, Texas. We set up command centers to make sure that mothers who were crying, que no se me lleven mis hijos, don't take my children away, because they have been put in ICE custody. We set up command centers to make sure the school stayed open till 10 o'clock. The children were not taken by Child Protective Services. They were reunited with their families. In O'Neill, Nebraska, and in Paris, Texas, and in Allen, Texas, we were able to get about 85% of the immigrants released and their families reunited. And we did that because it was the right thing to do. It was a Christian thing to do. And that's what Americans are supposed to do, is take in the immigrants as one of our own. Now, this year, I got a chance to travel to a lot of places. I had never been to Des Moines, Iowa before, okay? But we were. And in Iowa, LULAC has been around for a long time, and we organized and mobilized, and for the first time in the history of Iowa, they created 8 satellite bilingual caucuses for Latinos to go and vote in Iowa. And they had a record turnout of Latino voters in Iowa, and that made a difference in that election. And we had a presidential town hall in Des Moines, Iowa, and I'm very proud. Anybody from Iowa in the house today? All right, se avientaron. Y'all did a great job. Put LULAC on the map and put Latinos on the map in Iowa. And then that reminds me of Cristal Garcia, who's in her early 20s. And she started walking door to door in the barrios there and engaging people to go vote. And Cristal is going to be featured in our LULAC news because young people like that are making the difference by getting engaged and making a difference and telling people, su voto vale, your vote counts, and that is what she's doing. Now, I will tell you, we have a lot more work to do. We got work. We were in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, at our national convention, and great work being done by Lupe Martinez over there with UNOS. We had our national 90th anniversary convention there, and we continue to grow as we made history. We had our first LULAC town hall meeting there, where all the candidates showed up on the Democratic side, and we now had one in Des Moines, Iowa, and just last week ago or 2 ago in Las Vegas, Nevada. And that event and the other 3 have got us almost $93 million in media attention across the country as people started saying, you know what, the Latino vote does count, the Latino vote will make a difference, and it will make a difference on Election Day on Super Tuesday, and it's gonna make Election Day history in November when record numbers of Latinos are gonna turn out to vote because of the work that's being done by many of the people here. And let me just say, I also went to Puerto Rico. And a lot of people, and I want President Trump, wherever you may be, Puerto Rico is part of the United States of America. They're all Americans. But LULAC went to Puerto Rico to help the victims of the earthquakes. And I was there seeing how houses had been destroyed, and the United States government was not releasing the aid to them. And as a result of that, we brought Puerto Rican delegations of elected officials and mayors and civic community leaders to Washington to lobby for Puerto Rico and get the funds released. But we need to do more. I was also on the island of Vieques, where a 13-year-old young girl died last month because the hospital that was there closed after Hurricane Maria and hasn't been opened again. And by the time she waited for the airplane to get down to the hospital in the mainland Puerto Rico, she died, okay? That should not happen anywhere in the United States, and it should not happen in Puerto Rico, and throwing paper towels at people is not how you solve a problem, Mr. President. We need to make sure Puerto Rico is treated with the respect and dignity of every American state and of every American citizen. Any Puerto Ricanos in the house? Puerto Rico. Now, if they thought that the Super Bowl halftime show was scandalous, with Jennifer Lopez and Shakira, wait till they see the census numbers. Eso los va a asustar. Latinos are growing, and we're everywhere. And we will continue to grow to make sure that our dreams and our goals continue to become realities. So let me say this, because I know we have a fairly lengthy program. LULAC is back, but we need more members, we need more strength, and we need everybody working together. Because I no longer want to see children in cages on the border. And if you want to stop that, you need to get involved. If you want to stop and make sure that the well, we were just in New Jersey where they were having police officers, they were hunting on the border where African American Latino males would be stopped for traffic citations disproportionately. And we put a stop to it. In Dodge City, Kansas, they moved the polls out of Dodge to vote. And LULAC had to file a lawsuit to put the polls back in Dodge City, which is now 63% Latino during the last election. And in Texas, they tried to purge 98,000 Latino voters from rolls, and we filed a lawsuit, and LULAC won. So let me just say, by ending this, we are on the verge of some important history to be made. Your children are going to say, Mami, Papi, ¿qué hicieron ustedes cuando el cucuy estaba en la Casa Blanca? Translation, when the boogeyman was in the White House, what did you do, Mom and Dad? For the language impaired. And you need to look at them and say, you know what? We stood up for what was right. We stood up for those that didn't have a voice. We stood up for those that were being suppressed, oppressed, and we said, no más, ya basta, and we made a difference. And together, LULAC, we're 91 years young, we're going to continue to make a difference in 2020. Muchísimas gracias, hasta la victoria.